What's crazy if you is in Canada, you're not allowed to like film court cases. Everything in America is so sensationalized. I wish you could film court cases in Canada.
All right, we're at the end of the road here. This matter has been pending in the criminal justice system for 3 years, approximately. It's been approximately 2 years on this particular docket.
Well, it's been 2 years.
Indictment that was returned by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office.
I guess time has flown by.
We've been here for a couple of years now. Well, the pretrial motions have been resolved. A trial by jury was held. The defendant was found guilty of 5 to 6 counts of felony disorderly conduct, Class 4 offenses. This is a Class 4 felony. This is the lowest class felony in the state of Illinois.
They have different laws per state in America because the states are not united. That's why.
Let me tell you, Mr. Smollett, I know that there is nothing that I will do here today that can come close to the damage you've already done to your own life. You've turned your life upside down by your misconduct and shenanigans. You've destroyed your life as you knew it, and there's nothing that any sentencing judge could do to you that can compare to the damage you've already caused to yourself. So who is Jussie Smollett? Who are you? And how, out of all people in the world, did you get to be here, sitting in the courtroom in Chicago at a sentencing hearing, convicted of faking, hoaxing, racial and homophobic hate crimes? How in the world did this happen? Mr. Smollett was born into a mixed-race family. His mom is an African-American woman. His dad was a white Jewish man.
Conservatives are going to have a field day with this, but you got to blame Jussie for that one. Like, fuck.
You know that this family
provide them with ammo. Why don't you?
I know that Jussie Smollett grew up knowing to be sensitive to matters about racial discrimination, any kind of discrimination, any kind of social injustice. And as a matter of fact, I'm learning more about it as we're going on in the letters I've been receiving and the testimony I've heard today. He's been doing this all his life. He doesn't just talk the talk, he's walking the walk. He's out there, he's advocating, he's involved in the community. He cares deeply about social justice issues. And for you now to sit here, convicted of hoaxing, hate crimes, racial hate crimes, and homophobic hate crimes, the hypocrisy is just astounding.
Imagine being such a fucking narcissist that you decide to do this to, like, boost your career. Imagine being so fucking deluded and such a piece of shit that this is like an idea that comes to your mind. And not only an idea that comes to your mind, but one that you don't immediately discard as like, that's fucking stupid. That's great. That's an intrusive thought. And you actually like make a plan and hire some people and go through with it. What a piece of shit. He shouldn't have any like social influence from this point forward. 6 months, I think that's reasonable. It's a slap on the wrist. Yeah, he didn't like kill anybody. He wasted a lot of resources, you know. People are too familiar with like the American sort of like, oh, you have to suffer forever sort of thing. Like, it should be about rehabilitation, not about punishment, right? It should never be about retribution. Eye for an eye does not make sense. It should be about preventing these future problems from happening. And hopefully this sentencing, which I believe is like 6 months, prevents him from doing that sort of thing again. What I believe will happen is at the end of 6 months, he's just going to be like fishing for attention again and pretend like he's going to consider himself to be a martyr. And he's going to be like one of the most annoying people on the planet if he already isn't.
I don't know where to begin. I'll remember one thing that will always stick in my mind, and I've been involved in so many trials over the years, but something happened in this trial that it was remarkable. And it talks about your sensitivity to issues of social justice. You're on the witness stand. You're being cross-examined. Your liberty is at stake. It is your criminal trial. Mr. Webb...
He doesn't make black people seem worse. Fuck off. He's an individual. He makes himself seem worse. Don't attribute his race or sexuality or What, do you think he makes men look worse? Like, he makes all men look worse? He's a male. He makes Americans look worse? He's American. Like, he's an individual. He's an individual. He's a piece of shit. Don't think that way. Avoid the trap of thinking in that way.
Or text, a little quibbling about that. That doesn't matter. But Mr. Webb found a line that he wanted to confront you with. He said, "Didn't you say?" And he used a word starting with the letter N. "Meet me at this place at this time."
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing.
It's very. I can understand the temptation of of those thoughts because it makes a lot of questions in life seem easier when you can put people in groups like that. But it's important to avoid the temptation of doing that and try to question yourself and be like, oh, maybe just because every experience that I've seen through my limited perspective, or even the majority of, have been like, if I only see black people doing crime or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean that black people are criminals. That could just be a perceptive thing. That could just be what type of information you're exposed to, right? It's important to avoid those types of cognitive biases because our brains are very susceptible to those types of inaccurate illusions.
And rather than just answer the question, which is what a witness is supposed to do and expected to do in their criminal trial, you stopped the proceedings. You said, Mr. Webb, out of respect for all the African American people in this courtroom, you should not be using that word. And I was amazed. But it showed, and I'm not talking about the parrying and the gamesmanship that may go on between a prosecutor and a witness on the stand. That's not why I'm telling this, recalling this event. But what I'm talking about is how sensitive you were to any kind of slight. That anybody, if the wrong words come out of somebody else's mouth, you're going to get up and speak up and complain about it. And make sure that they know that they're not behaving the way you're supposed to behave. So you know better than anybody else that these are serious matters. They're serious to you. They're clearly serious to you and as your whole family. And for you to be here now, convicted of these hate crimes.
Those social issues are only serious to him in ways that he thinks he can benefit off of. He's a complete fucking narcissist from what I understand.
It's just astonishing. Faking hate crimes. So why did this happen? That's a good question. I think that's the question on everybody's mind. There's some conjecture you did it for the money. Frankly, I do not believe that you did it for the money. You were making, the evidence showed, close to $2 million a year when this happened. I don't think money motivated you at all.
Imagine making $2 million a year and then doing this. Holy shit.
The only thing I can find is that you really craved the attention and you wanted to get the attention and you were so invested in issues of social justice and you knew that this was a sore spot for everybody in this country. You knew this was a country that was slowly trying to heal past injustices and current injustices and trying to make a better future for each other. And it was a hard road. And you took some scabs off some healing wounds and you ripped them apart for one reason. You wanted to make yourself more famous. And for a while it worked. Everybody was talking about you. The lights are on you. You were actually throwing a national pity party for yourself.
Yeah. Elliot Page took the bait.
Why would you do such a thing? Why would you? I understand. You crave the attention so much.
And also what sucks about this is just like you have something like this and then, you know, anytime any sort of actual homophobic or racist event happens, then conservatives can be like, no, this is just a fake because it's always a fake, just like Jussie Smollett. Remember that one? That's a big one. And they can just circle jerk themselves over this and dismiss any sort of real issue happening. Like that's why that's a big contributing factor to why Jussie Smollett is such a piece of shit, honestly. Like what a selfish asshole, honestly.
But why would you betray something like social justice issues, which you care so much about? And the only thing
he doesn't care about it. He only cares about it so much as it benefits him.
I could conclude is, and I acknowledge there are wonderful sides to you. There are very giving and charitable and loving sides to you. But you have another side of you that is profoundly arrogant and selfish and narcissistic. That's the only thing that can be concluded. And that bad
the judge is being so nice to him by saying he has a good side.
side of you came out during the course of all these events. Let me talk about hate crimes for a minute.
Let me talk about hate crimes for a minute. My name's Scott Henson.
And I've heard many victims of crimes testify in front of me. And any victim of a crime, no matter what the crime is, they are demoralized by what happens to them. It doesn't matter if you're injured unjustifiably, if somebody hurts you and it maybe cripples you or damages you in some fashion that's going to be long-standing injuries. If your property is stolen, your vehicles are stolen, people go into your homes, your possessions are stolen, People do all kinds of terrible things. It is a demoralizing experience.
If I get canceled so hard that I have to consider a different career, I think I'll go into law. I think I'd make a good lawyer or judge. I've talked enough about like a good amount of like legal shit on YouTube. Not to be like, oh, I know everything, but to know that it's like at least a passionate enough interest of mine that I could excel at it if I like put my mind to it, sort of thing.
Turns out that the motivation for the criminal to do something bad to you was because they hate you. They hate you because of your race, because of your ethnicity, because of your gender, your sexual orientation, your religion, your age, your disability. If that was the reason for it, it is exponentially worse. There is nothing worse.
Exponentially?
Than to be a victim of a hate crime. It is the worst thing that can happen, especially in our country with all our history and all that we're going through now to try to get around some of these issues. Hate crimes are the absolute worst. And I believe that
you used my fair use video and you got an A in college? Nice.
You did damage to real hate crimes, to hate crime victims. There are people that are actual, genuine victims of hate crimes that you
I could be a copyright lawyer.
Did damage to. These are people that have a difficult time coming forward. They may be mistrustful. They may not want to bring it to the attention of the community or first responders. There may be some trepidation. I don't know for sure how much damage there was. I don't know how this is going to impact other people, if they're going to be hesitant to come forward because they're going to think that they're going to be accused of acting like you and doing a stunt like you pulled here.
Yep.
I don't know if first responders are going to be more doubtful and skeptical of people that come forward, real victims of hate crime, because of what you did here. I'm hoping it's not that way.
What's unfortunate is Jussie's never going to have an ounce of self-reflection. He's only going to blame the outside world for things that happen, you know? That's what narcissists do. Somebody that would do this type of thing is never going to have a moment of being like, oh, wow, I really made things worse for everybody. They're going to be like, oh, you people fucked it up for me. Like, that's going to be his only thought this entire time, is going to be, like, blaming everybody exterior to himself and just never learning from this sort of thing. That's why I've had too many fucked up experiences in my life with, like, absolute narcissists. I've hit the jackpot. I hit the negative jackpot in terms of having experienced narcissists in my life too many times. Like at least like 4, maybe 5. I'd have to dig these buried, repressed events back up to like fully remember each time. But like, really have a lot of trust issues in my life because of people like Jussie, which is why when someone like him comes along in media and I see this type of thing happening, I have very strong emotions against it because I want to prevent them from manipulating and hurting other people, you know?
Now I'll show one of the ironies in this case, and I find this pretty profound. I got letters from people that advocate about victims of hate crime their entire lives. They devote their lives to this. I'm talking in particular Derek Johnson, president of the NAACP, Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's an icon here in Chicago. No introductions necessary. They devote their whole lives to addressing issues about social injustice and hate crimes. And they are here today asking me to show you mercy. And I take that seriously. I find it profound. I take it seriously. And I know that they're in a better position than myself to educate the public about that topic, about the damage you've done to real victims of hate crime. And I am confident that because of all the attention that you've garnered here on this case, that they are going to seize the opportunity and they will educate the public and they'll be talking about this and they'll try to mitigate some of the damage that you've caused to real victims of hate crimes, and they're better positioned to do it than I am, and I will defer.
Yeah, more like 7 or 8. they're flooding back to me.
But I will acknowledge that you have done some real damage.
Yeah. There was a period in my life where it was like boom, 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 and then I would like get so hurt by a person that I would immediately cling to another and like put my trust in them, and then only to be like just destroyed even further. It was a very bad period of my life.
I want to talk about your premeditation. Again, I've been a criminal judge for many years.
Because narcissists can see when you're like weak and vulnerable too, so it kind of attracts that, you know?
And I know
people who are looking to take advantage of you.
there's some people that wake up in the morning. They have no intention of doing anything wrong. They're not looking to do anything criminal. That's the last thing on their minds. But there are crimes of impulse that happen. Road rage, a barroom fight, bumping into somebody. Words are exchanged that somebody finds insulting. And sometimes weapons are available. And the results can be horrific. And they can be permanent. And people are sitting here and they're wondering themselves, how did I get here? I wasn't looking for trouble. But trouble just seemed to find them in crimes and impulse. And when I'm saying that I have to put the person and the crime together and try to mix them and understand who it is that committed this crime within the sentencing range, and that's part of my job to do, I consider how the person got here. So, but this is not a crime of impulse. There are also crimes of opportunity. Walking down the street and somebody they left the keys in the car with the motor running, and they take the car. Or they're in the department store and they see someone put the credit card on this side and they go to adjust their baggage on the other side and grab the credit card. Those are crimes of opportunity. Oh. They didn't wake up thinking they're going to commit a crime, but something just looked too tempting to them. They use very bad judgment, and then they get in trouble. They get caught, and here they are.
Jussie planned this shit.
Premeditation.
Yeah.
Mr. Smollett, that's what you are all about here. Crime of premeditation. You did wake up in the morning thinking you were going to do something bad and something wrong.
He had so many. It's not like a spur of the moment thing, which I'm sure the judge will explain thoroughly right now. Is like he had so many moments where he could have been like, wait, what would happen if I got caught? Even if he wanted to stay in a moral person or something, even if he wanted to be like, oh, I'm fucked up on the inside, but maybe I shouldn't be such a dumbass. Like, if he wanted to be not a dumbass and think about what the potential consequences of getting caught would be, you know? Like, even just that, he could have had a moment of self-reflection, but he did not.
And I know more today about this than I ever did before, that there are some wonderful things about you. And I know how people, they cherish you, and they cherish your relationships, and they cherish the good works that you've done. And they love you sincerely and deeply. And they're not faking, they're not lying when they talk to me about their feelings about you and the good things that you've done. But you had that dark side, and this is what happened here. You premeditated this case to an extreme that's amazing. You wrote a script. The script involved words. You're going to encounter me on the street.
It involved words.
Empire, N-word, F-word. You're going to hit me. You're going to beat me up. You're going to put bleach on me. You're going to put a noose around my neck. That's a script that you wrote. Now, it's not a good script, especially for Streeterville in Chicago.
It's a shit script, Jussie.
You picked out the actors. You chose the Oceanero brothers. And why did you do that? Because you knew them.
How does anybody believe what the fuck Jussie said when those two brothers are like, yeah, after they got arrested, they were like, yeah, Jussie paid us to do this. We're obviously not white. We didn't really think they would go this far. Please don't get us involved in this. Like, how does anybody believe Jussie at this point? You have to be like so fucking just not attached to reality, or just so politically biased that you're willing to discard reality, you know? Yeah, when the cops came, he had the noose around his neck still to be like, see, look what they did. It's like, okay, well, if you're seriously like affected by that, you would have had that taken off of you. And also, like, it's kind of weird. Anyway, yeah.
You trusted them.
Yeah.
They idolized you. You're an established actor in a serious television production.
Yeah, he hasn't admitted guilt. That's like so fucked up. I think you know what? Like 6 months is fair, but like, I don't know. The fact that he still hasn't admitted guilt makes me think that he deserves a bit more, actually. 6 months is fair for the crime, but I think that there should be an added sentencing for never admitting to it.
Of Empire.
Maybe that shouldn't be a thing. Maybe that shouldn't be a thing, because then you might be like incentivizing people to falsely admit to crimes they didn't do. Maybe there shouldn't be an incentive for admission. It should be about the crime itself. As much as I'm emotionally attached to the idea of punishing someone for being a lying piece of shit, perhaps out of some deeper principle that shouldn't be a thing.
They were
I'll have to give that
hangers
more
on
thought.
there. They're trying to get jobs as extras, maybe a little speaking part here and there, but you were mentoring them. You were helping them. They wanted your advice. They would do anything for you. They thought you were one of the greatest people in the world to know and that you could help them in their careers. They're in great shape. They gave you a little advice about diet and exercise, but they idolized you, and they would have done anything for you. And you chose them because you knew that you could trust them, that they were loyal to you. You paid them in advance by check. Not necessarily a good idea, but it was your idea. It was part of the plan that you would pay them in advance, and the check was out there.
That's so funny.
Was shown into evidence. That was part of your premeditation. You chose a date, you chose a time, you chose a location, you had props procured.
Yeah, not even cash, but a check.
You gave them a $100 bill and had them get the supplies. What are the supplies in this case? Get masks. Nobody should see you. We're going to say that you're white, but obviously the Oceandero brothers are not white. We're going to cover your faces in masks. We're going to have a red hat.
If he hired 2 white guys to do this, do you think he would have just, like, thrown them under the bus more? Been like, yeah, that was them. Arrest them for the hate crime.
Because
probably, yeah.
It's going to indicate MAGA country. Going to get a rope that we're going to use as a noose. Going to procure some bleach. You're going to have the supplies. And then you had all that together, and then you did...
Why bleach?
Rehearsals. You picked them up and you did drive-bys. You drove around and around the block. You picked them up in Lakeview in their neighborhood, and some distance away you went to Streeterville where you were living, and you showed them. You're going here, you're going there, and you're going over the lines. You're going over the script with them so they would memorize the script. You're indicating which brother. You're the one that's going to hit me. You're the one that's going to put the noose around my neck and pour the bleach on me. This was planned. This was premeditated to the extreme. And I find that your extreme premeditation in this case is an aggravating factor today. Let's talk about the incident itself. It's all set up. The Oceandero brothers are on board. Your plane is running late. Now, you had a chance right then and there to think, okay, I'm really late. I'm 4 hours late. This can't go down. It's freezing in Chicago. We're on the verge of a polar vortex. You might have just thought about it and said, you know, maybe it's not in the cards. Maybe the karma is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. But no. You double down. You start communicating with the brothers through social media. Now, whether it was by texts or chats or Instagram,
2 brothers.
public or private, one way or another, you kept in touch with them. And there was some quibbling about the specifics about how you kept in touch with them, but they knew what time you were coming in, and now the time is pushed back to 2 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold weather. It's double digits below zero at 2 o'clock in the morning. You have to have a reason to be out on the street. And the reason you chose is you
go to the Subway
with the story that you needed to get some eggs at Walgreens at 2 o'clock in the morning. And if not that, you're going to go to Subway and get a sandwich and a salad and get something to eat at 2 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold. You did one more thing. You got the Oceandero brothers. Now they're on board with you. You're using them as your patsies. You have your friend. You get your friend Brandon on the phone, and here's a man, professional man that's trying to help you in your career. And you're not sure what town he's in, if he's in Australia or not, but you get him on the phone, and he's going to be your patsy also, because he's going to listen and be around on the phone to hear that you're being attacked by somebody. Now, he doesn't know what's going on, that it's really not an attack, but he's going to be able to corroborate your story. So you're getting that together. You got Brandon on the phone, you're out on the street, ostensibly to get some Subway, you get some Subway. And you're walking to where this is supposed to take place. Now, the Oceandero brothers...
Officer, I was just trying to buy some crack.
They're getting ready too. And they're doing this because he wanted them to do it on the sneak. No cell phones involved. Make sure nobody sees you get there. But at 2 o'clock, the time that you said this is supposed to happen, at the place you said it was supposed to happen, at the moment you said it was supposed to happen, they appear. So you're talking to Brandon on the phone, you have your Subway in hand, and they follow the script. Hey, Empire, word with the letter N, word with the letter F. There's a scuffle. They pour bleach on you. Brandon's listening to this. They attempt to put a noose around your neck during the scuffling. You're getting a little abrasion and scrape on your face. A car goes by. and the brothers take off. They leave. They never did get the noose around your neck.
What's crazy is, like, he hired 2 people to do this with no witnesses, so theoretically just for cameras. Could you not have just, like, hired nobody and done it in a spot where there were no cameras? Could you not have, like, been somewhere, like, just a little bit outside of the city or something? Because that's why they got caught, those 2, is because the cameras saw them and then followed where they went. Right? It's because there were cameras. I'm pretty sure. Could you have not just made up this story in a way where no one could fact check it? And it's just your word? You're a fucking dumbass, dude.
So what do? You gather your belongings. You get the cell phone.
Yeah, these 2 Trumpers that are like, MAGA country, we recognize you from our favorite show, Empire, and we know that you're gay also.
Hey, did you get jumped? Yeah, I got jumped. I got mugged. Did you hear what happened? Trying to make sure that he heard the words that were spoken. You grab your food, and you took the noose that they never did get around your neck, and you put it around your own neck. I repeat, you put the noose around your own neck. You go home.
Literally and metaphorically, he put the noose around his own neck.
Video footage shows that when you walk into your residence, you have this noose dangling loosely around your neck. You go into your apartment, the police are called, the police arrive. The first officer on the scene is Chicago police officer Mohammed Beg.
Mohammed!
Full uniform. The first responder of the first responders. His body cam is on. He sees you. And now he sees that that noose is around your neck, but it's not the way that you walked into the house. Now the noose is up at your throat. You've maneuvered the noose, and you've made it look worse than it was. This is part of your plan. Officer Beg asks a simple question: what happened? And then you start to lie. And you haven't stopped lying ever since. You've been lying and lying and lying about this case, and that's why you're here today. You want to fake an incident on the street, try to get some attention at work, try to have somebody else feel sorry for you. That would never have got you here. The problem was you lied to the police, and you caused all kinds of consternation. You caused a major investigation to take place, which got many people involved and caused great stress throughout the city and throughout the entire community here, and that's the problem. That's why you're here now. Those were the crimes you're convicted of. Not the shenanigans out there, but the lying about it, making it up, and that's why we're here now. You repeated your lies at the hospital. 6 counts were put together. The jury found you guilty of 5 of them. 1 was a little bit different than the others, and I understand that. Let me say, from my vantage point, and I was obviously here at every stage of this trial, I thought the jury's verdict was accurate, correct, wholly corroborated, but what could only be described as overwhelming evidence of guilt against you for lying. That's the crime you're here for, lying to the police. Well, Officer Beg took this very
Imagine being such a liar you go to jail for lying.
seriously. He said, that's a horrible thing that happened. And he started the process of
Yo, what are you in for? I'm a liar.
police investigation. Detectives got involved. You ended up at the hospital. All things were starting to happen, and this word got out. And you're not just any person. You have a little bit of celebrity about you. You were known in some circles as a very competent actor, a really good actor in a very serious television production called Empire, and people knew about this. And because you're a celebrity, and because you've been so active in all these social justice causes, and this is what is so unbelievable about this case, that you of all people are here convicted of hoaxing hate crimes. You who know better, who were out there in the world trying to be something for the good in social justice causes, that you ended up here right now like this. It's crazy. But you know people in high places, elected public officials.
Wow.
They reacted. You knew mainstream journalists. They reacted. You became the first page, your front page news. You're talked about in the halls of Congress. People are talking about making laws to prevent what happened to you to happen to anybody else. People on mainstream media.
He hasn't changed his position since. He's just been like stiff like that the whole time, it seems.
Are decrying what happened. What kind of country is this? How could they do this to Jussie? We know Jussie. He's such a gentle guy. He's the guy that was described to me by all the family and friends that I heard from today.
BLM's statement about Smollett was cringe, but BLM, remember, there's like different factions. There's no one BLM. There's a fucking BLM Toronto, you know, like... So, take that with a grain of salt. There's cringe to be found everywhere.
And I believe that Jussie exists. But you use them as your patsies too. They were giving you the national pity party you wanted. They're putting you on the front page. All the attention is on you. People talk about...
Which BLM faction was it? Look it up. It's the one that was defending him. I don't know, if 100% of BLM was defending him, then I guess it's all of BLM, but that's not my understanding.
Injustice, your name was coming up first, which is exactly what you wanted, but you...
Yeah, BLM Toronto was fucking cringe. I agree.
Turns out that you're not a victim of a hate crime. You're not a victim of a racial hate crime. You're not a victim of a homophobic hate crime. You're just a charlatan pretending to be a victim of a hate crime. And that's shameful.
Yeah, you're a fucking high-paid actor making $2 million a year, desperate for attention, pretending that you got hate crimed. Like, fucking Christ.
Especially from the family you got brought up with your family values. It's so sad.
Imagine raising this piece of shit.
The damage you've done to yourself is way beyond anything else that can happen to you from me or any other judge that would be sentencing you in this criminal case. You are now a permanently convicted felon. Your family who loves you and supports you, I don't even want to use the word forgive because forgiveness isn't even necessary. They're with you so much. They're so tight-knit, but you have to live with the fact that you really put them through a ringer.
Golden Warrior 53, I don't think he was talking about the investigative work. I think he was talking about the pretrial motions. That says things about Jussie's lawyers and the amount of pushback that they were taking towards this case, trying to exhaust every single possible option. Yeah, that's what he was talking about, I believe.
You've embarrassed your valuable friends in high places.
And so he was comparing that not just to murder cases, but he specifically said death sentencing. In which case, you know, someone's life is on the line. Obviously, they're going to go through every single possible option legally to prevent certain aspects of the trial from either taking place or being biased in a way. And so, yeah, it was more of a comment on the Jussie and his lawyers and the unwillingness to concede or cooperate or etc.
Elected public officials, people in the media, you've embarrassed them. You have to live with that. I don't know if those relationships can be repaired. You've become toxic in your own workplace. Your career future is uncertain at very best. It was really on a rocket ship to success, and now you've turned yourself into riches to rags, and it's so unfortunate. Your very name has become an adverb for lying.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine what could be worse than that. People talk about situations where somebody's lying and trying to manipulate and maneuver a story, and your name comes up as, pulling a Jussie, something like that. That's awful. You're the butt of jokes. Comedians, mainstream talk show hosts, they make jokes about you.
Dave Chappelle.
They do sketches about you. I can't imagine anything worse than that. Now, this is all self-inflicted. These are things you did to yourself. This is self-damage. That what you did is funny. And there's some room for humor or jokes about it. But I assure you, this court does not. I don't think there is anything funny at all about hate.
Can you link that, please, Shindig?
And faking racial hate crimes. Hoaxing or faking homophobic hate crimes. I think that is disgraceful. There is nothing funny about it. There's no humor in what you did whatsoever. All because you're selfish, arrogant, narcissistic. At least you have that side in you. That came out through this case.
Well, you can read an article from TMZ and then see how they source the article. It's really not that difficult to go to the original sources of things to try and find out what's accurate.
And you kept doubling down and doubling down and doubling down It's not.
And if they don't provide a source,
it's not
then you look
funny at all.
elsewhere. You keep
And
searching
I'm
until
your
you find it.
sentencing judge, and I don't find it funny. So where are we at? We're at the end. You are convicted of a Class 4 felony. It's presumptively probationable, but we have some real serious aggravating factors here. Your premeditation, which I've described. The pain you've caused to real victims of hate crimes, which I've described. The damage you've done to the city of Chicago.
Okay, so I'm going to let you know how I'm going to search for this. So I see the quote on TMZ, so let's be clear, we love everybody in our community. We can never believe police, especially the CPD over Jussie Smollett. I'm going to copy that text, open a new tab, paste the text, and see where it goes. Let's see. So this is a statement from an individual, Dr. Melina Abdullah, director of BLM Grassroots and co-founder of BLM Los Angeles, regarding the ongoing trial of Jussie Smollett. December 7th, 2021. That's where the quote comes from. So if we want to, is that the president of all Black Lives Matter? Maybe. It doesn't, I don't know. If Putin makes a statement, does that mean all Russians support that? I don't know. This statement is from an individual. After going to the source is all I'm saying. So I'm not attached to whether or not all of Black Lives Matter supports Jussie Smollett. I'm saying it can go either way. All I'm saying is to be skeptical about what kind of claims you hear that make absolutist statements like that. I'm more likely to believe the non-absolutist version, even if it means that it's you agree, but it's on their website. Yeah, but the website says it's a statement from an individual. The website literally says that. That's the same link I just read. It quotes it from being from one person. Anyway, you seem to be a little bit attached to whether or not it's all of Black Lives Matter. All I'm saying is that I'm not. I tend to believe the less absolutist version. So if you were to say all white people X, I'm inclined to believe not all white people X. If you were to say all gay people X, I'm inclined to believe, oh, maybe less than all of gay people X. Maybe it's somewhere between all and zero. That's what I'm saying. Is that your statement was very absolutist, and that's why I'm coming out against it.
I've heard. It's been talked about. I'm mindful of the city's request for restitution, and if I'm going to fashion that, consider that request, I have to fashion the sentence accordingly. And above all, the capper of all cappers, your performance on the witness stand. This could only be described as pure perjury. You got on the witness stand. You didn't have to. You did. You certainly have a right to. But you committed hour upon hour upon hour of pure perjury.
So, okay. Shindig, all I'm going to say about this is
ample factors.
Did anybody elect this, Dr. Melina Abdullah? Were they elected by, a population of... Did everybody who's a part of Black Lives Matter hold a vote on who represents them, or did someone just kind of show up and take advantage of a social movement? Right? That's kind of where I'm from when it comes to, this shit. So if somebody shows up, right now, and they're like, I represent all Zoomers, and they say a thing, and they're like, I'm speaking on behalf of Zoomers, I'm not going to be like, wow, Zoomers really believe this? So that's where I'm coming from.
The court would decide that the things you did, that any kind of probationary sentence would deprecate the seriousness of the offense and you need to go to the penitentiary, the record is clear and it would support it. But I'm looking at everything in its totality.
People do take advantage of social movements a lot, because if you give anyone an opportunity to take advantage of something, someone will, especially in the United States of America. There's people, there's leeches everywhere that are looking just for a tiny bit of blood. They see it, they're like, whoop, gonna latch onto that shit. Like, America breeds this type of person. Not to say it doesn't exist elsewhere, but like, you have to expect it. You have to expect it in America.
I'm fashioning the following sentence, and here's your sentence. I'm sentencing you to 30 months felony probation, and the probation is going to be to this court.
30 months.
You will pay restitution to the city of Chicago in the amount of $120,106. You are fined $25,000.
For a person that makes $2 million a year, that's fucking nothing. He lost his main revenue source. He better have $120,000 in the bank. Making $2 million a year for how many years?
Do you have any questions?
No, I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal.
I heard about that quote before. If you didn't catch that, he's just said, I would like to say I am not suicidal. He's trying to trick other people into thinking that he's going to be Epstein, which gives him the opportunity, if he wants to kill himself, if he thinks his life is over, so that he still wins, so that other people, maybe that person who founded Black Lives Matter LA or whatever, will believe they got Epsteined and be like, wow, his death proves it. Or maybe he's just like, yeah, I don't, there's a lot of cringe. A lot of fucking cringe. What, you think he's trying to convince people that, like, the only reason that he's not being believed is because there's some grand conspiracy? Like, this goes all the way to the top. This goes all the way to the top. MAGA country, the president that's no longer president, is controlling this.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Oh, this is so funny. He's overacting it too. I heard that he yelled it, and I was like, oh, that sounded not like yelling, and I guess he's going to now.
I am innocent, and I am not suicidal.
You're cringe, bro. Fuck off. Fucking get out of... Just stop being a person in media.
If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this.
If you... This guy... Is this one of his lawyers? Because it looks like he's fucking rolling his eye. He's looking at the judge. He's like, dude, I've been having to deal with this every fucking day for 2 years. Like, he's giving him that look. He's like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, bro. She looks like she's gonna laugh. Or is that she or he? It doesn't matter. They look like they're gonna laugh. They're just trying to, like, ignore this situation. Jussie, you're fucking cringe, bro. Holy shit. This sucks. I hate that there are people like this in the world. It's absolute fucking narcissists. It's unfortunate that I've met enough of them in my life that, fuck. Yeah, triggers me so hard when I get reminded of people like this.
And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there...
Cringe, bro! What do you think this is? He's built this up in his head to think that this is, like, as important as, like, an Epstein case. He is so fucking full of himself and deluded that he thinks he can sell to the rest of the world that he is literally that important. Like, oh, this is that important. Like, people are after me. Nobody gives a shit about you, dude. Just fuck off.
I did not do it to myself, and you must all know that.
Who do you think would do this to you? The relatives of these, like, MAGA bro trailer rednecks that you were talking about? Do you think they were, like, a part of, like, some gigantic, like, kingpin mafia? Like, what are you trying to sell here, dude? What are you trying to sell? What are you trying to sell by doing this, you fucking cringe lord? Fuck off. What a piece of shit.
I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time...
If you were innocent, you would not respect his decision. You would not respect him. If you were truly innocent, you'd be like, If you were truly innocent, you'd be like, how could you not believe that I'm innocent? Because the facts would support your case if you were truly innocent. There wouldn't be this situation where it's like, oh, well, these 2 guys you hired showed us the checks that you wrote to them. You wouldn't be in the city. This is such a fucking bullshit manipulative plead right now. Just trying to be nice to him. Like, fuck off. You can't do this at the same time as pretending you're innocent. Like, this is such bullshit. What a piece of shit. I fucking hate people like this.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
Go fuck yourself.
Uche, let me inquire. Are there any post-sentencing motions you care to present right now?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Ms. Widow.
The defense would wish to present a motion to reconsider sentence.
All right.
And file it in scanter.
All right. It is timely filed.
Thank you, Judge.
And let me say, I've obviously considered the sentence at great length.
He's probably not even going to a real jail anyway.
And it's timely filed, so it's preserved for purposes of appeal.
He's probably going to be like put under some special protection or some whatever rich people jail he's going to.
The reconsider sentence is respectfully denied. And is there another? One second, Randy. Anything else? Just a second. Is there going to be a notice of appeal filed?
He's probably going to share a bunk with Harvey Weinstein. He's dug himself so far into this that this is just the rest of his life now. He's going to be a serial manipulator for the rest of his life if he wasn't already. Like, he's committed to it now. He can't possibly admit he was wrong at this point. I mean, he could, but he's not going to. He seriously thought he could get away with this. Imagine like being a showrunner and then one of your actors goes and does this stupid shit. Like, dude, trying to make a show here. Like, what the fuck? What an asshole. And
I'll talk to you about it.
He wants to be a martyr so fucking bad.
All right. Any other matters to come before the court today? All right. Defendants remanded to the custody of sheriff. Court is adjourned.
Wow. I'm glad I watched that. It took longer than I thought it would to watch it. Wow, really, dude? You're gonna do Black Power right now? Oh, fuck off. You should be banned from using that fucking fist. That's not yours anymore, bro. Fuck off. That was disgusting. That's genuinely disgusting. That's insulting. Holy shit. Fucking Derek Savage uses it more appropriately than you. Like, fuck off. Go fuck yourself, dude. What a colossal piece of shit. What an absolute garbage human. Wow. Jesus. Absolute colossal, gigantic piece of shit. Jussie Smollett. Wow.
Hey guys, it's March 2022, so let's update these Patreon credits. My $5 and up patrons are Wriggle Moss, Speak of the Joker, Yup, Caden Mack, Andre Philippe, Butt Rock, Charisma, The Super One Player, Dwyer Tarantino, Jacob Arndt, Zachary Kane, Samjul, Chi.exe, Gothic Sith, Mandelbro, Kel Hunt, Wales, Bo the Doggo, Kai Butcher, Gabriel Herrera, Hoofy Doe, Ocean Machinery, and Malav Shah. Take care, everyone.